Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Games I Speak. I'm Gio. Unfortunately, I'm alone today. So I just want to kind of start off the show saying, rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. For those of you that don't know, he played the Black Panther, and he recently passed away. So yeah, that's a huge loss, and I hope his family well. So with that being said, let's start off. Okay, our first big piece of news, Gamecom. So I was watching this opening night, and I'm just gonna go through the rundown here of what was announced. So there is a new Dragon Age in the works from BioWare. So if you haven't played Dragon Age, I have some of the Dragon Ages. They came out on the last ones came out, I believe, last gen on Xbox 360. I have two of them. They're kind of like medieval RPG type games. So it's good to see that they're making a new one. That it's a franchise that they definitely shouldn't let run away from them. The Sims 4 is getting a Star Wars pack, Journey to Batu. You know, I guess if you're a Sims player, this is cool. I don't play The Sims. Fall Guys. So they're announcing a season two. So this game is actually pretty cool. A lot of people are having fun with it, and it's good to see games like this do well. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. So we're going to talk more about this game in the show. But they're basically they announced that it's releasing November 13th. And we have Star Wars Squadrons, so they released a new single player trailer, and they're really going in on the realism of flying, piloting the X-wing or the TIE fighter. So that's cool to see. 12 minutes. So this game, it's interesting. I believe I missed this part of the presentation, so I don't know what this game is about. But I mean, it's got a stacked cast. It has William Dafoe, Daisy Ridley, and James McAvoy. So I mean, William Dafoe and James McAvoy are huge actors. So to see them working on an indie game, I mean, that's pretty cool. So this game is going to be coming out soon for Xbox and PC. And I might just get it just to see the scale of having two or three really high profile actors on it. So they Insomniac basically released footage of extensive Ratchet and Clank gameplay. So this is something we're definitely going to be diving into. It looked amazing, and I can't wait for this game. So Medal of Honor Above and Beyond. So this is actually a VR game coming to the Oculus Rift and the Quest, and it actually looks pretty cool. So we're going to dive into that. Doom Eternal: The Ancient Gods Part 1. So this is the newest expansion to the story of Doom Eternal, and I'm probably going to get this. I did a review on Doom Eternal, great game. Bridge Constructor is doing a crossover with The Walking Dead. So I've never played Bridge Constructor, so I can't tell you much about it, but apparently it says here they did one with Portal and it seemed to work well. So, I mean, if you're a Bridge Constructor player, probably excited for this. And they did a new kind of gameplay trailer for World of Warcraft Shadowlands. So I will be playing that. That is releasing on October 27th. So that pretty much the Gamescom presentation. Um, as far as the first night, I didn't watch the rest of it. I was too busy, but that that was pretty packed news right there. So with that being said, let's jump into the first piece of Gamescom news that I want to cover extensively, because there's a lot here for the Call of Duty. So let's jump into that. So there's a lot going on here. So first of all, it's a Call of Duty game. That being said, it's one of the biggest franchises in the world. So all right, let's jump right in. So the backdrop for this game. This game takes place during the Reagan administration, and it's about a covert operation involving the Cold War and the Vietnam War. So those of you that don't know, younger people, the Cold War was essentially like where the United States and Russia were basically having competing global, strategies, and the U.S. was trying to push democracy, and the Soviet Union was trying to push communism. So that's basically what the Cold War was. So it's a very turbulent time in history. So it's. I think it's going to be a good story. So here's the thing. The game itself, they announced that it's going to be one of the first major titles that's going to be releasing for $69.99, and that's going to be on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. So it looks like we're seeing a shift in game prices increasing by $10. So if they're doing it with this game, you better believe they're going to be doing it with all the major titles. So what does that mean for you? Well, I've said it in past episodes. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. Wait till it goes on sale, or do something like a Game Pass or a Humble Bundle. I mean, there's a lot of different options here. You don't have to buy games when they first come out. So, it's up to you. And then it launches November 13th for the PS4. So if I were a Call of Duty player, I would just wait well, actually, you know what? I can't even say that. If I was a hardcore Call of Duty player, I would probably get it for PS4, because it looks like the PS5 is having a limited release, and we'll get to that later in the show. So, and then this is something me and Josie talked about in the past episode. We don't know why this is happening, but so the PS4 version will allow you to purchase a next-gen upgrade, and it might be around $10. So if you buy it on PS4, you want to get it on PS5, you buy the upgrade, you plug your PS4 disc into your PS5, and it unlocks the whole game. But there is no next-gen upgrade for Xbox One, meaning if you buy the Xbox One version of the game, and then you switch to the Xbox Series X, there's going to be no upgrade for you. So I don't know why they're doing this. Some speculation is that like Xbox, the way they did their infrastructure because of the diskless system, but that makes no sense because PS4 is going to have a diskless system as well. So it's just weird to me. I don't know why Xbox is not getting a lot of physical releases and they're not getting this upgrade when they've claimed that they're doing the smart delivery, which is going to give you a lot of upgrades in the future. So maybe they might do it for free. I don't know. But as of now, they're not getting that next-gen upgrade for Call of Duty. So if you have both systems, you want to get the upgrade, I would buy the PS4 version for now. All right. Next up, we're going to dive into Ratchet and Clank. So for those that didn't see this gameplay, I was showing gameplay on our show, but I started getting all these copyright strikes. So can't do that anymore. So, all right, let's just look at some of these images. So essentially, it's a third-person action-based shooter. The graphics are amazing. I mean, you have to watch the trailer. And as you can see here, he's kind of like seamlessly, in the video, he seamlessly jumps through dimensions, which is very impressive. So the main showcase was to show like the combat, his different weapons. So he has a bunch of different weapons. They all kind of like interact with the world differently, different particle effects, different explosions. Now, the impressive part with the weapons is the dual sense controller. Now, one of the developers in the video, he was saying that they can control the vibrations on the dual sense controller by how far your shot goes away in the game. So that's the granular effect they can get. They can also add 2 different weapon inputs on one trigger control button. What does that mean? He said that on the shotgun, if you press the shotgun halfway, it shoots 1 shot, and if you press all the way, it shoots 2 shots. So that's pretty damn impressive. Also, they said due to the PS5's super fast SSD loading, they are able to seamlessly go through levels, no loading, or no annoying loading screens. I assume the animation is the loading part. But this game looks amazing. This is I would point to this game as being like the next gen, like kind of like status quo for what we should expect from next gen games. Like no annoying loading screens, super quick gameplay, super detailed haptic feedback with the DualSense controller, amazing graphics. So I'm totally looking forward to this one. All right. Next up, Gotham Knights. So for those of you that didn't see this trailer, it came out, I want to say it came out like Thursday or Friday night, and man, it is a great trailer. So essentially in the trailer, Batman died. Not 100% confirmed, but apparently he died. And he sends out a message to his team, Batgirl, Nightwing, Robin, and Red Hood. And he's basically like, it's all on you guys now. You have to save Gotham and fight off the Court of the Owl. So a couple interesting things here. This is not a direct continuation to the Arkham universe. The graphics look very crisp, very uniform, very consistent. And the combat looks really fun and engaging. So I assume while it's not a direct continuation of the Arkham universe, it is going to have very similar third-person beat-em-up gameplay. So that's that's definitely one that looks great. So go check out the trailer. It looks awesome if you haven't seen it yet. Next up, we have, and this is another announcement from the Gamescom, Medal of Honor Above and Beyond VR. So they showed a trailer of the gameplay at Gamescom. So essentially, for those of you that are unfamiliar with Medal of Honor, it's like a World War II. I think they might have even had World War I storylines. I'm not sure. But this one looks like a World War II themed first-person shooter VR game. So this is releasing for the Oculus Rift and the Oculus Quest. The story takes place in France during World War II. You're part of the French resistance to the Nazis. And there's several, like they showcased a bunch of gameplay, like they showed all the different weapons. Not all, but a bunch of different weapons. They showed that there's air combat, like you can fly in a plane. And I believe he was in the Gamescom interview. He was the developer or the, I don't know who he was, but he was asked about multiplayer, and I can't remember what he said. So don't quote me, but there might be multiplayer in this game, which would be awesome. So, and I don't know if it's going to be co-op, but it probably would be co-op or maybe like a battle arena type scenario. So that's pretty cool. So I have an Oculus Quest. And that is definitely a game that I would probably get. All right, next up, we have... This is something that caught my eye during the week. I didn't know about this, but Amazon has their own game studio, and they have their own MMO coming out. So let's take a look at that. All right, we have New World. All right, so let's look at this. So it's an open world MMO, and it kind of looks like a medieval type world. And it's developed and published by Amazon Games. Now, for those of you that don't know, Amazon, they do have a pretty robust game division. They actually they have their own game engine called Lumberyard. I actually downloaded it to my computer and kind of went through their like demo within the engine. So it makes building 3D environments like pretty easy. It's free. It's 100% free, which is pretty cool. And so they're using that to develop the game. So here we can look at some screenshots. So see how it looks like a very like medieval style fantasy world. I don't see much magic use. I'm seeing a lot of like hunter type classes. So yeah, it's very interesting. So it's going to release on Windows 10 and on Steam, and it releases on May 25th. And they're going to have if you pre-order, you're going to have access to the early beta, which is in spring of next year. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to be kind of looking at this closely because it does look kind of cool. All right. So next up, let's tackle some of the more industry-focused news. So we've been covering the whole Epic Games, Apple, battle. And so let's see the next evolution here. All right. So this is escalating pretty darn quickly. So Apple terminates Epic Games developer account. So what does this mean? Well, it means, first of all, Apple said, hey, Epic, you can continue to keep your games on the Apple Store while we go through this like litigation here. You can continue to manage updates on your games, but just don't break the rules. So that was the whole caveat. You can manage your game still, you can still make updates, don't break the rules. So according to Apple, Epic Games kept trying to update their games with rule-breaking updates. And so Apple was like, all right, we're done with this. And so they just terminated their developer account. So what does this mean? It means that they're not only can they not update Fortnite. They have two other games, Battle Breakers and Infinity Blade Stickers. So they're stuck on those games too. They can't even update those games too. So look, it just looks like Epic is their own worst enemy now. So Apple gave them a chance. They said, look, you can stay while we battle this out in court. Just don't keep trying to break the rules. Well, Epic Games couldn't handle themselves. They kept trying to push updates that broke the rules. And now they can't even update their games. So it just seems like Epic, it keeps pushing the line. So I have no sympathy for them anymore. And don't involve your player base. This is a battle that you willingly took on against Apple. It's to increase your bottom line. Don't involve the player base. They have nothing to do with this. This is corporate power. Just leave them out. So that's my whole spiel. All right. So next up, Microsoft. They are apparently starting a what they call a quadruple A studio. So I don't even know what that means, other than the fact that it's supposed to be like this like super duper studio with like amazing talent, and they're going to be able to create quadruple A games. So let's dive into this. So Microsoft claims it's starting a new quadruple A game studio. They're hiring former employees of Crystal Dynamics and Bungie. So what does that tell you? That tells me that they're trying to shore up Halo Infinite. The studio will be led by Daryl Gallagher, who used to work at Rockstar Games and Crystal Dynamics as well as Activision, and he oversaw games like GTA 4, Tomb Raider, and Destiny 2. So those are all massive titles. So yeah, I'm sure he has a lot of experience. They are hiring up talented people and have several job openings. So what does this mean for the Xbox Series X game lineup? Well, that's a good question, and I can only speculate. I would assume that it means they're trying to shore up existing projects like Halo Infinite, and they're possibly trying to start a new IP. So I think it's good for them to focus more on game development. It's good to get some more titles under their belt. So I think this is a smart move on their part. So let's see. Next up, this falls in line with what's going on. 343 Studios is bringing back a Halo Infinite, or not Halo Infinite, Halo veteran to work on Halo Infinite. So who is this? They're hiring Joseph Staten, who helped write some of the earlier Halo titles. He will be brought in to help the Halo Infinite team work on improving the campaign mode. So I know a lot of people have been focusing on Halo's multiplayer, which is important, but let me just kind of bring up, as a Halo player, the campaign was always front and center in that game. The campaign was always amazing. It had great storytelling. I mean, if you haven't read the Halo books, there's a lot of books. So they're based on actual, like, highly detailed sci-fi stories. So the campaigns were always very well done, great voice acting, great narration, and just like cool scene work. So they're bringing him back, and I assume it's to make the campaign more like story focused with the books, like the original. They're also moving Pierre Hintz, I don't know how to say it. He's a senior leader to focus on the free-to-play experience for Halo Infinite, which is going to be the multiplayer part. And the new project leads will work with Chris Lee and report to Microsoft VP that oversees 343. So here's the thing. This seems like they're taking the criticism to Halo Infinite to heart. It seems like they're trying to go all out and fix everything wrong with this game, which I commend and is definitely the right move. Now, here's the question. Is it too late? I don't know. Time will tell. But I do hope these revelations fix the majority of issues with Halo Infinite, and I hope the game's a success. So, all right. Next up, we have Nintendo Direct Mini. There was another one. So let's kind of go through here briefly. So there was announcement Just Dance 2021, World of Tank Blitz, which I believe you can already play. It's a free-to-play like MMO for tanks. Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. Me and Josie already talked about this. It's a cool-looking rhythm game. Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. This is going to be like a head-to-head Puyo Puyo versus Tetris puzzle game, cross-up puzzle game. It's going to have an online mode and story mode. Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythm Adventure Pack consists over 130 songs and 6 new titles. Big Rumble Boxing, Creed Champions. So this is a story-driven game with the Rocky franchise within the Rocky universe. Has free play mode as well as online, and this is launching in spring 2021. Jump Force Deluxe Edition. I might actually get this. I actually have Jump Force. So this is basically like the definitive version, I think, where it's going to have all the DLC in it. And if you don't know what it is, it's a 3D arena fighter featuring all of your favorite like Shonen Jump manga characters. So it's really cool. And it's fun. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition. Collection of Saga Final Fantasy Legend. Originally released on the Game Boy system. I might actually get this. Captain Tsubasa Rise of New Champions. This came out this week. I'm actually probably going to do a review on it, so stay tuned for that. Me and Josie were going to talk about it today, but he couldn't make it, unfortunately. And Microsoft Dungeons DLC and Fuser. So Fuser is a non-stop digital music festival. So it's kind of like Rock Band, I guess. So let me kind of jump into some trouble with Crystal Chronicles here. So actually a couple things. So yeah, Crystal Chronicles came out. Now it's a multiplayer action-based RPG. So think of the Final Fantasy franchise, but more of a focus on multiplayer co-op. Kind of like an MMO, you could say, where you do dungeons together. So there's no local co-op, which I think Josie talked about last week. Now, here's the thing. This is what I read. I read a detailed review about. So each player has a single save file on their console, which is kind of like how first-person games do it. You know, there's no database, so I guess that kind of is a database. But it's a save file, and it allows them to quickly access all the player data. You know, that's definitely how handhelds do it. So here's the problem with that. If you host a game in Crystal Chronicles and 2 other people come in, you get all the upgrades. They can only get items and stuff like that. So the host gets all the benefits. So what does that mean? that means in order for everyone in a 4-player group to unlock everything, you would have to run the same dungeon 4 times, and each time every single player would have to host it. So that is a horrible design choice. Now, updates to the host only. The host only receives Myrrh, which is kind of like the currency in the game. So they only get the currency as well. And you cannot move. So that might be doable if you could quickly move from dungeon to dungeon and switch hosts, but you can't do that. You have to disband. And even let's say you have a host and everyone agrees, yeah, we'll just let this host do all the dungeons tonight. Now, you can't even dungeon hop, go from one dungeon to a dungeon. You have to disband your group, start a new lobby, and then go to a new dungeon. So, I don't know what they were thinking. The game obviously is, fun and good to play, and I guess it has good graphics and music and it plays well. But if the game is centered around online multiplayer, you can't do something this clunky in this day and age. Some people are even saying it's even harder to play than the original handheld versions, I believe, which were on the Game Boy Advance. I have one copy of, I have a copy, but it's for the DS. So maybe it was on the DS. But yeah, you can't do that this day and age. You have to make multiplayer seamless, and you have to have servers that can update all the data back to players pretty quickly. So big fail their part on Square Enix. All right. So next up, we have PlayStation 5 pre-order registration to pre-order is now live. So what does this mean? Go to this website here. I'll just post it in the comments and sign up. So the lucky people will get the option to pre-order. So what does this mean? It's what we feared. It's what me and Josie talked about last week. We're going to have a limited release of PlayStation 5. So you have to sign up, then you have to get selected, and then you can pre-order. And so it's a limited first round of releases. It's potentially releasing around November 13th. And so here's the question. How long before the PS5 becomes readily available? I don't know. I don't think anyone knows at this point. So we could have another Nintendo Switch fiasco where people are doing lotteries and waiting in line all day just for the chance to get buy one. So yeah, this is a disaster. And I really hope that they keep development of PS4 games up until they can widely make the PS5 available. So there you have it. We're going to have a limited release for PS5. So if you're able to get one, I would recommend just pre-order it. Just bite the bullet and pre-order it. So, all right. Next up, we have more rumors of a Switch Pro. So we've talked about this before. So the Switch. So Bloomberg reports Nintendo will release a new Switch next year. So what does this mean? Well, it's not a whole. It's a new Switch console, but it might be like an existing upgrade. I don't know how many upgrades we'll have, but the one speculation is it's going to have a 4K screen with 4K resolution. So, in my opinion, that would be a good enough upgrade because gaming is headed towards 4K. Not every console supports 4K. the PS4 Pro does, and I believe even the Xbox S does, but it's more of like an upscaled. So yeah, we're definitely headed towards 4K, and if the Switch, they want to keep up with the development of updated graphics, they need to make a new 4K version. So yeah, definitely look forward to an updated Switch. All right, and our final piece of news. So this is pretty cool. Turrican is getting a new strictly limited games. They're releasing a collector's edition. It's going to include Turrican, Turrican 2, Turrican 3, Super Turrican, Super Turrican 2, Mega Turrican, and then unreleased Super Turrican Director's Cut and Mega Turrican Director's Cut. So, for those of you that are unfamiliar, this is a really like cool franchise. It was done by Factor 5, and it's a cool run and gun game. So I have Super Turrican Director's Cut. It releases with the Super NT. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I always like to cover this retro news. So I'll put a link in the description below. So that's it for the episode this week. I hope you all enjoyed it. Keep gaming, and I'll see you all next week. Hey everyone, thanks for watching this episode of Games I Speak. If you liked the episode, please subscribe and leave a comment below, and we'll see you all next time.